Hi everyone, this is Emalani. For those that don't know me, I am an internationally known psychic medium. And I wanted to make this video because something happened to me recently that I wanted to share with really all the women and men in my life. Um, Everything that's going on with Roe versus Wade and the you know whats and all the things that seem to be that we're losing our um, control over our bodies, to lose our sovereignty as human beings, and that this vehicle that we're in is no longer ours, even though I'm here to tell you it is. And I've never really, I mean, it takes me forever to get on camera anyway, because I'm a very shy person, even though I do radio and I do live readings. I'm really not that great at doing these videos, but I felt so compelled to come on and actually share with you something that happened recently and what spirit showed me about this, and how we can live our lives in sovereignty with the help of the universe, with the help of our intuition. Lately, my business, through COVID, my business kind of went down almost 95%. Like, I was really losing customers, and people weren't able to pay, they're not getting paid, and all kinds of things happened. So my business kind of tanked a bit. And luckily it's getting better, but I am readjusting some prices for conscious pricing, but that doesn't have anything to do with what I have to say. So I started driving Uber just to make ends meet. My son said, "Mom, you'll love it. You love people. You'll get to know people in our community." And I thought, you know what? I really need to make some quick money. And I love to drive. And he's right. I love people. So I thought, yeah, I'm going to start driving for Uber. So I did. And I started enjoying it. I absolutely loved it. I'm living in New Hampshire, and the people are amazing here. They're very salt of the earth and friendly. But I have a past that I've never really spoken about publicly, maybe just privately with certain clients. At 16 years old, well, I should start even farther back. Let's go farther back than that. I have lived a life of sexual victimhood from the beginning of my life, through molestation to rape at 16. And I was brutally raped with a friend of mine at 16 years old. We were cruising a park, and two guys jumped into our car with knives and forced us to park in the bushes and proceeded to violently rape us. And from that, it wasn't it wasn't taken care of very well by my parents or by her parents. Back in the day, there just wasn't that much help. And I felt completely helpless and terrified. And I, even to this day, still have some physical effects from it that don't let me forget it exactly. And so I've always helped women. I've always been open to helping them, especially by letting you know that I've been through it too. And I understand what it takes to actually feel comfortable in your own skin again, to feel comfortable being out among, just out and being safe. And as I developed my intuition, I was even very intuitive then, but I never saw it coming. My friend and I were just bebopping along, having fun. And these two guys forced themselves into our car. And so that followed me in my life, but it also made me very helpful to women. But it also made me very aware of the relationship between us and our bodies. And every time something comes up with the government or medical or pharmaceutical or whatever, and it tries to overtake our choices, because I learned a lot about choices back then. And at first, for quite a few years, I felt like a victim, and that I didn't have choices, and that I was overpowered by men. And I had a lot of things. I had weight gain. I had problems with intimacy, with even in my marriage. And it really affected me for a very long time. And I'm telling you this because I learned how to use my intuition to keep myself safe, to ask questions while I'm in the moment, to intuit a person's energy when they're near me. So I was driving Uber just a week ago, and I had this feeling that I was ready to go home, but I wanted one more ride. I wanted to make a certain amount of money that day. And Uber has it set up where you actually can make points and then get free stuff and have all kinds of incentives. And I wanted this one incentive. So I'm really close to it. So I was very excited. So I get this ding, I take the ride. Something inside of me started to already say, don't take the ride, go home. And I thought, no, the incentive. And that's where I questioned myself. And I learned again not to question myself. So I end up picking this man up. And not that it's only about men, because women can also, because earlier in the day, I picked up a woman who I think we did a drug deal. She used Uber to pick up drugs. And so I was kind of iffy anyway for that day. But I picked up this man, and the minute he got in my car, I felt a presence. I felt a darkness, a very scary energy. And right away, he said in a very sexual voice, "Oh, I like you." And my first thought was, just get him to wherever he needs to go and get the heck out of there, right? And so we were driving when he said that. I was already on my way to his destination when he started. And he asked me, "Are you married?" And he started asking personal questions, which in Uber tells you don't answer those personal questions, just kind of fluff it off. And so I nicely was like, "No, just don't, I'm not into that conversation." And so spirit began, my energy field began to shrink, and I could feel it. So I tucked my energy in really tight, and I put a white light all around me so that nothing could enter my field that I didn't want in there. And as he was sitting in the back seat of my car making mouth noises and kind of groaning noises, and I thought, oh God, whatever, don't look at him in the rearview mirror, just get him out of the car. And it was quite a ways. And then during the middle of the ride, it was about a 30-minute ride. During the middle of the ride, he decides that he's going to make it a round trip, and that he wanted me to drive him back. And he kept expressing his interest in me. Now, he was from another country, and he was quite pushy. And I kept telling him, no, I'm not interested in that. And Uber has a policy where you can just drop people off, get them out of your car. And where I live, it's all just woods and highway. And I thought, I'm safer just taking him to where he wants to go. And where he wanted to go was very near my home. So anyways, we get to the place he wanted to go. I kind of conceded to the round trip, even though I didn't want to, which I still wasn't listening to myself. But right before we got there, I said to spirit inside of myself, am I in danger? I really went within and got very present. And I asked, am I in danger? And the next song on the radio was, If I Don't Live to See the Morning. And I thought, oh no. And I started to feel my energy tighten even more and some fear creep in. And so I said, please confirm what you just told me. And the next song on the radio was, If This Is the Last Day That I Put My Shoes On. And I thought, okay, I'm in danger here. I need to get to safety. And we were just about ready to get to his drop off. So we get to his drop off. I wait for him. He gets back in the car. We get maybe, 1,000 feet away towards his next destination. And he begins to tell me he wants to get to know me better. And the human part of me felt confused of what to do, but the spiritual part was like, get out of there, like protect yourself, protect your energy. And so I immediately began to think, okay, you have your metal water bottle, you can hit him in the forehead, Yeah, and somebody left mace in the back of my car a couple days before that, and so I had the mace there, and I thought, okay, somehow you're going to get out of this. And then he touched me. He reached up. He said, I really want to get to know you better. And he used his fingers to caress my back. And that was it. I said, great, because I had to ask Spirit, get me out of this. And that was a breaking of policy. So I said, okay, good. So I was just very close to where his drop off, not his drop off, but where we stopped was. And I said, you know what, you can touch me and I have to take you back. I can either leave you here right here, or I can take you back. And he became absolutely irate. He started screaming at me violently. He was using the F word. I can't believe this. And then he revealed himself. I chose you. I picked you out. I have many women drivers. And so I knew that he had chosen me from my picture on the website. And unfortunately, Uber has a policy where when you're working for them in this certain program, you can cancel, and they tell you to be safe, but the incentive is to not have any cancellations. So that was my choice, and that was my decision why I actually picked this man up. And so instead of using my intuition, I used my ambition, but then again, used my intuition to get him out of my car. So I thought, just be nice, ask him if he wants to go back to the store that we were at where his friends are. And I basically told him, look, I'm going to take you back there. It was only a couple feet away, and I'm going to drop you off. And he proceeded to scream and yell. And he was a very well-built, you could tell he'd been working out a lot. Like, he was very scary. And I could tell that if he just punched me in the back of my head, I probably wouldn't have made it. But Spirit had already told me, look, you're in danger, you're going to make it. So using my intuition, like using that relationship. And yes, eventually I got him back to the store and out of my car. It took me a while. I had to call my son so that he could hear a male voice. And finally he got out of my car. He stopped screaming at me and he got out of my car and belittling me and berating me because I would not respond to his sexual advances. I would not give him whatever he felt he needed from me, which was that he didn't even see me as a person. And that's my point here. He didn't see me as a person, or that I had choices, that I would even maybe not be attracted to him or married or gay or whatever it was, right? He didn't even think. All he was thinking about was his own desire. And that's what's happening in our world right now, where we're being thought of as cattle, where we're just, and it's been that way for forever, especially for women, but it is for men too. Because if he was a gay man, he would have done it to a gay man. He would have done it to any man that was driving for him. But the point is that we're being used as cattle and not even seeing as the human or even as the spirit. But Spirit hears you, and Spirit is there at any moment. You can just ask. Have your secret language inside of you with Spirit. Develop it. In my coaching programs, that's what I coach. I help people actually tune into that inner self, that just in case you do get into a situation, and we're in situations right now. We're in situations in the world where we have to listen to our own intuition. And it's our burden if we don't and something happens to us. We are afraid of authority. We have all kinds of fears about consequences if we cross over lines. And there's nobody that can take away your sovereignty. And being able to ask inside, what I did was I just spoke through feelings and words in my head. Am I safe? I went to the trusted place that I built a relationship with because of my past, because of what had happened. That's how I got out of victimhood, was actually through my past of years of victimhood. I finally learned that there is something and someone that cares for me, that is in the unseen world, that I can speak to and I can turn to at any moment. And I want you to know that. I want you to be able to get out of situations. I've gotten out of so many situations using that, being in tune, being present. And I did not turn into hatred towards him. I actually went to the most present, loving place for myself, not for him, for myself, love for myself, so that I could get myself into a safe situation and not hold a grudge against him. What actually happened was he was used to empower me. It empowered me to know that at any moment I can turn within and actually be there for myself as the sovereign being, as the spirit being. And that's why I'm posting this video today, because I want you to know that you can do that. You can turn within in any situation and get the help that you need by being the help that you need, by being your own savior. Now, that doesn't mean that spirit won't do something miraculous and make things move and, who knows what, because that's happened to me too. But once you take in your own power and you sit in it, especially in a situation, I mean, we want to every morning, we want to during the evening, we want to be able to sit within ourselves if we're out in public or even at home, and practice that. But when you're in a situation that seems dangerous, because right now, with all of these policies changing, not being so able to have control over your own body, you feel, you still do. And we can use that. We can use that intuition to actually overturn things like that and live in a world that changes. The paradigm changes when you change. So, from going from victim to empowered woman in a situation that was very similar and could have actually gotten me killed, I became my own sovereign, and he was not able to overtake me. And I want you to know that that's for you, that you can do that, that you can do that in any situation, at work, at home, in your relationship, with the relationship with yourself. Whatever you want to change, especially if it's something that you want to change about yourself, you can do the same thing and go within. And that helps you to change your behavior, because then you're actually present and in that moment. So I wanted to bless you with this. I wanted to remind you of who you are. And I wanted to share that just because certain things happened in your childhood or happened throughout your life, it doesn't mean that you have to repeat them over and over. But what it does mean is that you find yourself because of them. Find out who you are. Find your sovereign being. Allow yourself to be that spirit, woman or man or child that actually can, in an instant, save themselves. And so, thank you so much for listening and being a part of my empowerment and always supporting me in my business as well. To all of my beautiful clients and my listeners, I wish you well and I wish you strength.